Man. It's been a minute, y'all. It's been a minute. First thing that I wanted to say is, I want to thank all my subscribers to subscribing to the channel. And I think where I really blew up, or the videos that blew up, was when I went to SmackDown live in person. I think it was the June 27th, or no. Yeah, I think it was the June 27th show, around there, or the 17th, I should say. June 17th show, and I think my Jinder Mahal video did like 46K over that shit. So since that, I've gained a lot of subscribers, and I just want to thank y'all, man. I really didn't think I'd get this much fucking like people subscribing. I mean, there were just like short clips, but again, thank y'all, and let's get this shit to 200. But I will upload more, but I don't want to get no copyright claim. You know how YouTube is with demonetization. So yeah, but in other news, man, a lot of shit has changed. I think since the last time I uploaded, you know, Vince McMahon stepped down. All these allegations and shit. Stephanie is now the CEO. And today, I think I was on my phone. I was on Twitter, and I see this Twitter account, this wrestling Twitter account, talking about TV-14. Then I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. So I go on my search box and then look up TV-14. And apparently I see all these fucking accounts, and confirmed by Andrew, I forgot his last name, but some dude named Andrew confirmed it on his, he tweeted it and said, as of July 18th, WWE Raw will be going with TV-14. So my ass said, holy shit, the PG bullshit is over. The corny ass cartoon shit, the fake ass fucking childlike storylines, all that shit is dead. Now, do I personally think this is gonna change much? Not really. Because I've been watching WWE for a long ass time. All the way back in the Ruthless Aggression era. And some people have been watching longer. But I'd say these past like 7 years, I've really noticed like a few things they've changed up to make it TV-14. One of them being using the word bitch, and at times they've been edgy, and they've brought like gimmick characters like the Fiend, who, because of his character, he does some over the top shit. And there have been matches that have been TV-14. The Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. That shit was TV-14. The match was. And AJ Styles versus The Undertaker. That shit was, a more edgy like match because it wasn't in the ring, so I could give them that. But even let's look at Raw 2019. They had a segment that wasn't PG and it was TV-14. And 2019 they try to make Raw like pretty edgy. There was a few episodes back in June that year that they try to change a few things up, and it was mostly the storyline. The storyline is what made it PG. We could even go back to Raw Underground, where Shane McMahon tried to bring strippers in that shit. We could look at Kofi Kingston throwing up the middle finger to Samoa Joe fat ass. There's a lot of shit WWE has been trying to do these past few years, and I could say, like, at times they were PG or TV-14. Excuse me. And this is not really something new, but changing the rating now to TV-14 instead of PG, I think, maybe a few things might change. Like, when it comes to storyline dynamic and what, you know, superstars could say, I think that should be something that could change. Like, you might hear niggas say fuck, shit. We already hear the bitch line. That's not something really new. But, even though it is like TV-14, I want a sense of realism. Like, I don't want no, like, third wall. Like, I want some, like, fourth wall breaks. Like, I want people to really, like, go after each other. And when I mean go after each other, I mean, like, go off on each other. With promos and shit, I want people to really, like, express how they really feel. Like, because we all know promos are scripted and they're not off the top of the head. But I do want people to, like, the superstars, I want them to really, like, say what is on their mind instead of having this pre-written prerequisite bullshit that if somebody were to get in a real fight with somebody, nobody would say that. Like, you know. But Raw, as boring as it already is, there might be a few changes, but it all has to do with the storyline. If it's just TV-14 and everything's the same and nothing really changes much, then it's still gonna be the same bullshit, you know. Back in the ruthless aggression era when I was a kid, my parents would not even let me watch that shit. Now, you know, not even kids watch this shit. Like, children that are under the age of, like, 12, I'm not even sure they even watch Raw because they see how, like, childlike it is. Kids that are that age, they don't want no damn, like, boring ass fights that don't really fucking matter. Like, they want to see some cool shit, some fucking, like, hardcore shit. And WWE's age demographic, that's something they really need to, like, look into. Like, what do people from the ages of 18 to, like, 35, what do they like? It's sure as hell not grown men dancing and twerking and shit like the new gay. Ain't nobody fucking like that shit. Niggas like violence. You know what I'm saying? Niggas like fucking just beating the shit out of each other. Bringing more cool, like, story elements into a feud. Because back in the day when niggas were feuding, that shit was great, man. Like, it felt real. Like, there was a sense of realism. Now when people are in a feud, it feels fake as fuck. Nobody really is invested in the storyline. And 9 times out of 10, like, there's no real motive. And I think here's one of the reasons why I think WWE changed to TV-14. Number one, since Vince McMahon he stepped down. Stephanie McMahon took over. I feel like she didn't directly say, let's make this shit TV-14. But I feel like she might have been influenced by, let's say, creative or something. Or something like that. And number two, I think WWE finally realized after all these years of people complaining and people demanding to change the product, change the way storylines are made, change the way how promos are written. It just changed the way how people do promos. I think WWE finally realized, okay, let's just tweak a few things. Because I'm gonna be honest, I feel like they've been kind of slowly getting back to their roots. Number one, NXT, that it doesn't feel like a Raw or a SmackDown. It just feels like its own distinct brand that's for a more mature audience. And that's what it's intended for. But you have now, the WWE doing it for Raw, and I think Raw. And so I really hope they change a few things, man. Because the way I see it, you got to change through the times. If you look back at the 90s, what were people like back then? Like what was the things that was popular? The 90s was a fucking cold ass time. Like you could basically get away with anything. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop was at its peak. People were listening to death metal music, and wrestling was at its fucking peak. And you had just a bunch of TV back then that was, if it were to air on today, a lot of people would be surprised. Just watching a TV show from the 90s, it feels like something completely out of this dimension. And that was the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era perfectly embodies the 90s. A bunch of crazy shit, off the wall, just real hardcore, grimy, sort of street vibe atmosphere. And we don't really have that today. And the 2000s, it started dying down. I mean, you had the Ruthless Aggression era, which is way better than this fuck shit, but it was still they just toned it down, And then you fast forward to now, where let's look at society. Everybody's woke as fuck. People get offended so fucking much, and with the leftists and shit, it's people can't even take jokes and shit. And I think people are just tired of it. If WWE, with the conscious decision that they've made, if they know that they go TV-14, then they should realize if they do push the boundaries, they should realize they might lose a lot of sponsors. They might lose a lot of deals, and they're kind of taking a risk. But they made that decision. So, do I think TV-14 will change WWE completely? Not really, but I'm kind of open. My ears are wide open, because the last time WWE was TV-14, the shit was entertaining as fuck, and it was actually the peak of just wrestling, the Attitude Era, the greatest era in my opinion. And so, do I think wrestling will go back to that? Probably not. But am I optimistic in what WWE will do heading in the future? Hell yeah. No pun intended. But it's your boy EB in Wrestling, guys. Oh yeah, subscribe to the main channel. This is just, my wrestling channel. I have another channel like where I'm talking about other things, but yeah, man, let's see where this shit goes, because I'm really optimistic. Like, what is everything gonna go in the future now with this shit, and are storylines gonna be more entertaining? Because the PG era, it's had its moments. Not everything was like PG, but I'm just sick and tired of like the fucking New Day and these dumbass fucking storylines that don't make no damn sense, or they don't go anywhere. And that's why feuds don't really feel like feuds. But it's your boy EB in Wrestling, guys. I'm out. Oh, and subscribe to the other channel. I'm gonna leave a link in the description down low. But give me your thoughts, man. Do you think WWE will change? Do you think they'll just stay the same and just slap on that TV-14 sticker? Till the next one, guys. Peace.